What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we are back for some more Need for Speed 2017 wishlist stuff. Today we're going to go ahead and talk about the multiplayer. So we're going to talk about the modes, we're going to talk about what I think needs to be improved from Need for Speed 2015's multiplayer, we're going to be talking about PvP, speed lists, all that kind of jazz. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. So competitive multiplayer wasn't something which was added to Need for Speed 2015 till quite late on. So obviously you can kind of forgive them if they made a few mistakes here and there, and you know, you can kind of forgive them because it was just a DLC update. I'm sure they put a lot of effort into it, but you know, obviously when it's not a core integral part of the game, you're bound to miss a few things. So before we go ahead and talk about the multiplayer modes and what I want to see from that, first we need to talk about the netcode. So obviously in Need for Speed 2015 there was a bit of an issue with the multiplayer generally, even in free roam. So say I am in a Huracan and then I don't know, one of my friends is in a Elgato or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Essentially, it might look like I've hit them on my screen, even though I haven't. Now, I'm not, you know, a programmer, I'm not like, I don't have the expertise to tell you exactly what this is. Whether it's lag compensation, whether it's the netcode in the game, again, that's something that Ghost are going to have to figure out, not me. But before they even thinking about adding new modes and stuff, they really kind of need to brush out the whole netcode issue where, you know, obviously the player, it looks like the player's been hit on your screen but he hasn't on the other screen, sort of thing. That needs to be solved, because again, you can't really have modes like Infected and King in the game if, you know, the netcode's a bit dodgy and it looks like you hit someone on your screen but the game doesn't register it. You know, it just isn't really gonna work properly. So that's something that needs to be solved, you know, initially as a core integral part of the game. That is something which needs to be solved. Otherwise, you can't really have all these other modes which I'm going to talk about now, because it just won't work properly. So that's the first thing, is kind of the netcode, the lag compensation, whatever it is, that needs to be sorted. So next we're going to go ahead and talk about the ranks. So in Need for Speed 2015, honestly, the whole like speed list, like ranks and levels and stuff, didn't really mean too much. It kind of just meant, you know, you had some bragging rights, but realistically that doesn't mean too much to me, really. I really want to see them improve the whole leveling up system. I want to see some actual rewards come through. So for example, I feel like if you were to unlock really rare parts, for example maybe a tail light, or maybe, you know, some exclusive rims for cars, and that would be really, really cool. So say when you get to level 10 you unlock a specific wide body for a different car. That would be really, really cool. I feel like that would give more incentive to play online, and obviously the higher you get, the more rarer parts you would get, because not as many people would have it, sort of thing. That would be really, really cool, and it gives people incentive if they want a specific part. You know, if they see a YouTube video and someone's unlocked a specific kit for a specific car and they really want it, but you've got to be a level 110, they're gonna grind their ass off to get to 110 to get that specific kit. So definitely giving more incentives when leveling up. You could even give free cars away. You could do like the whole wheel spin system where you could do wheel spins for money. There's loads of real ways that you could do that, you know, especially for like when you level up for every 10 levels, you could get a wheel spin, or maybe you just get given a bunch of cash, and then obviously the higher level you get, the more cash you're given. So say at level 10 you're given 10k, and then at level 100 you're given like 100k or something like that. I don't know, spin across those lines. But definitely giving more incentives to leveling up. The next thing I kind of want to talk about is something which I've been asking from a lot of games for a very long time, and Horizon 3 actually did this. I want to see an auction house in Need for Speed. So you should be able to do all the normal stuff, you know, like selling cars, wraps, even maybe tunes. That could be a really cool idea. But also, you know, having the option to trade. So if you could do like a trade offer between two people. This is what FIFA used to do back in the day. I don't think they do it anymore. But if you put a car up, you could put a trade offer in, and then obviously you could put like, say I put an F40 up and it had a wide body and stuff, and obviously an F40 that's like gonna be 200k in game. Let's say I wanted to put a trade offer in for that F40. I haven't got much money, but I've got two BRZs that are fully upgraded, and those two BRZs are the equivalent to an F40 in terms of price. I can then go ahead and make the trade offer using those two BRZs. Not sure if that made sense. It kind of made sense in my head, but you know, having a system where you could have trade offers would be really, really cool. Then you could also do the obvious thing of having NFS Edition cards. So obviously Horizon had the whole Horizon Edition cards. I'm pretty sure in the run there was NFS Edition cards that you unlocked after a certain amount of time. Maybe just litter them across, you know, the auction house over time. And the thing is with Need for Speed, because obviously it's been going for so long, you can litter the auction house with NFS Edition cars which have been featured in previous games. So for example, you can have an M3 GTR with the most wanted wrap on the auction house as an NFS Edition car. You could also have like Rose's GT2 from Undercover as an NFS Edition car. You could put that on the auction house. The RX-7 from Pro Street on the cover, you can have that in the auction house, you know, because Need for Speed has such a heritage and such a lineage, and there is actually so many iconic cars from the series. You can just litter the auction house with these NFS Edition cars from different Need for Speed games from the past. So, you know, you could put Blacklist cars in there, you could put Rachel's 350Z, I'm sure that's going to be in the next game, you know. You could put the Rachel's 350Z in the auction house, you could put all these different types of cars as NFS Edition cars from previous games in the auction house. But as well as that, you can also create new ones. I think that would be a really cool idea, personally. Now, how Ghosts actually want to, like, get these cars out into the auction house is up to them. But, you know, these cars, they should feel special, you know. There shouldn't be loads of them. I feel like one mistake that Horizon made is that, you know, it was too easy to get Horizon Edition cars. I feel like making them feel special is a really important thing. So you've got to make sure that these things are super, super rare. And obviously, if someone has an M3 GTR NFS Edition car in your lobby, you're going to be thinking, holy shit, this guy knows what he's doing, or holy shit, this guy got really, really lucky. One of the two. But you know, having something like that in the game would just be so fun, and obviously it gives more worth to money. If you do something like this, it kind of gives money a lot more worth. I've got what, like 5 or 6 million Need to Be 2015, and honestly there's not much for me to do with it right now. But if you had an auction house, and if you had, you know, like pink slips and wages and stuff, I could actually use that 5 to 6 million on, you know, playing the game and still playing the game and stuff. And so, you know, it just kind of gives more worth to money, and it makes the game a lot more alive. So definitely would like to see something like that in the game. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to Speedlist. So obviously Speedlist is kind of Need for Speed's PvP mode. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about a few modes that I would personally like to see, as well as some new additions to PvP and Speedlist themselves. So obviously you've got races and drifting, and that's all cool. I would like to see cops and robbers. So if you guys never played Need for Speed Undercover, essentially it was a mode, everyone gets given a car. That's how it should be, you know. I don't want to see whole cops versus races in the story mode, and I think I can speak on a lot of people's behalf when I say that. I don't want to see that. Essentially, you get given a car from you know, Need for Speed, and that's your loan car for the game. So say, I don't know, you're on the cop side, you might get given a Crown Vic. If you're on the racer side, you might get given a BRZ, a Rocket Mini BRZ that's like fully upgraded or whatever. Same for the Crown Vic. And basically there's a cops team and there's a robbers team. There's money in the middle. The whole goal for the robbers is to get the money back to the base, and the whole idea from the cops team is to stop the robbers from getting the money and taking it to their base. So essentially it's a game of cops and robbers. Pretty self-explanatory. It was in Undercover, it was in Need to Be Undercover, and it worked really, really well, and it was a hell of a lot of fun. I absolutely loved it back in Undercover. Obviously it was a bit harder to play online back then because it was very, very early days for multiplayer, but seeing something like that in Need to Be 2017 would be really, really cool. So cops and robbers as a mode would be really, really cool. Again, if Ghost ever do watch this, you can always go back to Undercover and just look how they did it, and maybe just rip it straight from there, to be honest, because again, that mode was pretty much sorted in that game. So obviously, cops and robbers. I want to see wages and pink slips. I've already made a video on this. The link will be down in the description if you want to go ahead and watch that video. I went really, really in depth on how it should be made. So if you do want to go ahead and watch that, again, link will be down in the description. I want to see a non-contact mode. The amount of times I was rammed out in Need for Speed 2015 PvP was stupid, and there just should be a non-contact mode. It should be a no-brainer at this point, you know, like for people who just want to do competitive racing to its fullest, non-contact should be a thing. And maybe you could have a competitive mode where non-contact is like a main, like, integral part of that mode, maybe. I don't know, but definitely having non-contact is very important. As well as this, obviously, King and Infected, these are modes that we've seen in plenty of other games, The Crew, Forza, so having some King and Infected modes would be really, really cool. And finally, this isn't really a mode per se, but just having private lobbies, you know, having private lobbies both in open world and in all the modes I mentioned. So you can actually do, you know, cops and robbers, non-contact, King, Infected, and then just free roam in private lobbies. Need for Speed 2015 didn't have this, and the amount of times I was trying to make videos with friends and other people would come up and ram you for no reason, you know, that's just one example of why we need private lobbies. You know, the fact that I couldn't just play with just my friends and my friends by ourselves, I don't know, it was very inconvenient. It was mildly inconvenient. So just having private lobbies is something that I definitely want to see, and having multiplayer separate from single player Firstly, that gets rid of the always online issue. Personally, that wasn't really too much of an issue for me because I do have an internet connection pretty much all the time, but obviously a lot of people did have an issue with that, so it gets rid of the always online issue, and also it just makes everything a lot more structured. I see a lot of games nowadays releasing like with the whole ethos of, oh, it's seamless and you can just go straight in there's no menus, you don't have to go on menus anymore. But honestly, I don't have an issue with menus. Like, menus makes my life so much easier. I know where single player is, I know where multiplayer is, and I can just go straight into it. I don't really understand why so many game companies and so many games that release nowadays are so focused on not having menus and having it so seamless. I genuinely don't mind menus. Menus makes my life easier because I know where things are and I can just go straight to it. I'm not sure if you guys agree with me. I'm not sure if that's just something that I feel, but I feel like having menus is not a bad idea. It will make my life so much easier, and I'm sure it would make Ghost life easier as well, because obviously they wouldn't get the backlash from always online, and you know, it's just a lot easier to add all these other elements in the game. So that is kind of it for in terms of the multiplayer itself, but I've got one more thing to say, and this regards the car classes. So in Need for Speed 2015, there wasn't really any car classes, and this is something which definitely needs to be a thing if you're going to be upgrading cars and whatnot. So essentially Forza does it, I'm pretty sure the crew does it, obviously with the numbering system. I think Forza does it best because they kind of make it so you can race different classes. So obviously you've got A-class races, you've got S1 races, you've got S2 races, etc, etc. I feel like Need for Speed should do something similar, so maybe having a system where you've got like Junkman and that's the top, and then you've got Ultimate, and then you've got Pro, and then you've got Semi-Pro, and then you've got Stock. Just having a system like that where cars are in different tiers would be really, really cool. I'm not saying do it like Need for Speed Carbon did, where there's different tier cars. So say a Gallardo is a tier 1 car, and then a 240SX is a tier 3 car, and you can't use a 240SX and a Gallardo in the same lobby because they're different tiers. I'm not saying do it like that, do it more so like Forza does it, where, you know, you can pretty much upgrade any car to any place you want through either engine swaps or, you know, actual upgrading the car itself, something across those lines. It would be really, really cool to see something like this. Maybe have, you know, a mode in the multiplayer where you can only do A-class races or B-class races or whatever you want to call it. That would be really cool to me, but having car classes is something which I definitely want to see in the next Need for Speed. So I do hope I didn't confuse you guys too much. There was a lot of information there. Honestly, multiplayer is one of those topics that I could go on for days. You know, there's definitely something I've missed, and I'm probably going to end up making videos in the future about the stuff I have missed, and obviously you guys, I'm sure you guys have got a lot of ideas for the multiplayer, and again, like I said, this could go on for days, but those were just kind of some of my quick thoughts about what I want to see in the multiplayer. If you guys agree with a lot of the things I said, make sure to go ahead and tweet at Need for Speed and at Ben Walk. Those are the kind of people you want to go ahead and tweet to try get these ideas to come to fruition. Also at Ghost Games EA, that's all their Twitter handles. Obviously, again, all the Twitter handles and stuff will be in the description, so if you do want to go ahead and tweet them, you can, and hopefully we can get their attention, because again, I'm sure you guys would like to see something like this in the game too. You know, the whole idea of cops and robbers really excites me anyway. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. You guys have an awesome day, stay safe, and peace.